What up, ladies and gentlemen, Chen Chen here bringing you guys another video. Today I am here continuing the Vladimir guides, or just basically anything related to Vladimir. Today's video is 5 things you should know before you main Vladimir. So this video is going to be very focused on, the newbies that are trying to pick up Vlad. Now, if you main Vlad, this vid could potentially still have, something for you, so definitely stick around. There's not much to talk about, no introduction needed. We're just gonna get right into it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the like button. Join the Crimson Pack by subscribing to the channel. And let's go. The very first thing you should know before you play Vladimir or main Vlad is he has a lot of options based on your playstyle. So there are like two main things, right? It's either mid or top and your core items. Which one you want, the Proto Belt or the Spellbinder? These conflicts, these debates are all throughout Reddit. There's no definitive answer. You have to find your playstyle. Say you're a mid main trying to pick up a new champ and you're like, hey, I want to main Vlad. Try Vlad top. They're I don't want to say they're two different champions, but Vlad top and Vlad mid truly are two different playstyles, so you definitely want to give it a try. Maybe Vlad top will fit your playstyle a little bit more. There's a lot of advantages and disadvantages of mid or top that I'll probably get into in a different video, but just some basic things like mid, you have to have a lot more map awareness. Your warding is very crucial. Timing, power spike, recall, all of that is very, very crucial. So if you lack in those type of areas, I would recommend trying to, maybe play Vlad top. In the top lane, it's just a lot of wave management. Top is like an island, alright? You'll always hear top as an island, and it's because it's true. Like, there's not much you need to focus on other than yourself. So find which playstyle you like better, whether it is mid or top. And secondly, it's the core item. I have a video titled which is better, Proto Belt versus Spellbinder, in-depth analysis. I definitely recommend watching that video. Although it's a bit biased because I am a Proto Belt for life user, it breaks down the items pretty well in my opinion, and you're gonna have to find what works for you. Like I said in that video, like I'm gonna say in this video, different playstyles. Are you more an aggressive player, trying to zoom, look to go in and then go out really quickly, burst the enemy? Spellbinder is probably for you. If you're looking to maybe control the wave better, kill through dash, proc phase rush through dash, then Proto Belt is definitely better. And there's obviously more than just that that I go into in the video, but this is the very first thing you should know before you pick up Vlad. You have to identify what type of playstyle you are going to choose with this champion. At the end of the day, it is how you play the champion, not the champion itself, right? If you play him like a burst mage, he's gonna burst. If you play him like a tanky, AP bruiser, he's gonna be tanky. It depends on what you want to play him as and how you want to play him as. Anyways, moving on to tip number 2, or not even tips. Second thing you should know before maining Vladimir. This is a pretty obvious one, but I feel as if a lot of people just can't comprehend this. He is a hyper scaling champ. You have to really hone in the aspect of what is hyper scaling, right? He has an extremely weak early game that can be punished very easily. However, with him being a scaling champ, he will actually teach you how to properly manage wave and get really good CS. One thing that Vlad does exponentially well as opposed to other champions is his champion, if you don't master like its core fundamentals, you're going to get destroyed in lane 100% of the time. There's no exception, right? There are rarely any quote-unquote easy matchups for Vladimir. So because of, League of Legends being very early game dependent and laning phase dependent, if you do not understand Vladimir and you do not, really understand his aspect of hyper scaling, you cannot play Vladimir. You're gonna in your lane, you're gonna die a bunch of times, not actually reach a scaling point where you can impact the game. Okay, I want to also phrase this. Although he is a hyper scaling champ, And, towards the later, towards late game, he's going to dominate the Rift. You have to keep in mind that how you get there is also very important. So there's two ways to get extremely fed, right? One is through kills, and two is to get really good CS. You as a player have to be able to do both. In some matchups, in a lot of hard matchups, you're probably not going to be able to solo kill your laner, and that's fine. You're going to win through CS and, impacting late game fights, mid game objectives. You're going to look to impact those. But if there's matchups, say any low range mage like maybe Veigar, Annie, those type of mages that you can get to pretty easily, you have to be able to understand your combo, understand your kit, and solo kill them. That will lead into you hyperscaling a lot more faster and efficient. Every single game you have to be able to do this and getting really good CS. Consistency is key. You should realistically get around 7.5 to 10.0 CS per minute if you decide to play Vladimir. That's just being very realistic, right? If you're playing Vlad and have 5.0 CS every single game, Vlad is not the champ for you. He's a hyperscaler. If you have 5.0, you're either horrible at CSing or you're joining into too many fights, not understanding your champion identity, alright? He is not that good in the early game. You cannot just join into every single fight like any other champion. You're very, very self-dependent on CS, gold, item, kills. You have to prioritize that rather than joining these fights. Granted, in low elo, yes, you can probably pick up kills and get fed through there, but what if you don't? It's not a consistent way of playing Vladimir, and that is why low elo, if you can get really good CS, there's no way you cannot climb. Alright, the third thing you should know before picking up Vlad is he has no resources. Alright, this is a no-brainer. He does not use mana or energy to cast spells. You have to really make this an effort to fully comprehend what this means. Alright, this makes cooldown reduction extremely important on a champion like Vladimir. In 99% of your games, you should be looking towards getting 10 or 20% CDR out of your first or second back. This will ensure automatically that you spike harder than your opponents, as you can spam your abilities endlessly while your opponents obviously have to refuel, right? Understanding that Vladimir doesn't have any resources and that his only resource is cooldown, you have to prioritize cooldown. And it's such a big spike, so when you get that 10% or 20% CDR, you have to play a lot more aggressive, because guess what? Enemies gonna start running out of mana, and you don't have mana. You're gonna drain them out of mana, and you're still gonna be lifestealing through your abilities and cooldown. So play very aggressively if you reach these power spikes. You have to understand that. Alright, moving on to the fourth thing you should know before picking up Vlad is input buffers. Okay, and this goes actually to a lot of champions. Before actually deciding you want to pick them up, I recommend going to practice tool and practicing their combos. For example, Vlad has his Q flash, right? You hover your Q over an enemy and then you flash. When you flash, if you're in range, it automatically goes off. This is very crucial in League of Legends because a lot of champions can do this. So I recommend going to practice tool and finding those type of combos that you can do. It'll benefit you a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. And for Vladimir, this is something a little bit more advanced, but understanding these type of niche things is very important to actually mastering the champ, right? It's basically where you press a button, your character moves there, but if you flash, it automatically goes. So understanding input buffers and practicing is going to be very, very important. Alright, the very, very last thing you should know before maining Vlad, and this is the most important in my opinion, he is not a broken champ. Okay, this might be memeing. A lot of haters are probably going to be like, oh my god. Listen here. Alright, let me explain. He is a scaling champ. Alright, that means a very, very weak early. Right? If he doesn't recall, he is practically not a champion. He needs his few items. Another thing is almost every champ counters him in lane. He's super easy to gank as he has no mobility, and if he wastes his W, gank him again, right? Just repeat gank. And if he doesn't have W, it's like a 20-something second cooldown. It's such a free gank, right? He has nothing to counter. He also can get CC'd before actually using W and die. This is super annoying. Like when I go against champions like Galio, Zac, you can't play the game. They CC you down, they burst you because those type of champions have an absurd amount of damage, and you can't play the game. So understanding that you can die through CC, very important. And he's not an effective champion without getting decent CS. He also debatably scale less harder than other champs, right? I'm looking at you, Caston. And the list goes on. These were all the weaknesses that I just listed of Vladimir. So why should you care? Well, if you are picking him up, expecting free elo and expecting free LP, it's not going to happen. You have to master the laning phase. You have to master teamfight. You have to master all your matchups. You have to master, you know, when to split, how to get insane CS. All of these things you have to comprehend if you are looking to pick up Vladimir. Alright, to sum up this fifth point, don't pick Vladimir just because your friend's saying, oh, Vlad is super broken, you should definitely pick him up. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to climb. You're probably going to lose a lot of your games, actually. There's so much fundamentals that go into Vladimir and actually being able to play him. And that's why if people say Vlad takes no skill, they're probably delusional, right? Okay, Vlad takes a lot of skill because so much fundamentals go into actually being able to play him effectively. So a lot of things that counter Vlad include his ability to be abused early, and the fact that if you do abuse him early, he's not going to become a champion until like 35 minutes. Let's just be real. If he's behind, he's not going to have as much of an impact as you would think, and by the late game, the game's too late, right? And another thing, you can also build Maul or just like any MR item and you make Vladimir cry. I'm serious. Like, Maul actually hard counters Vlad, by the way, and for some reason the people who cry about Vlad being broken don't build it. Whatever. Anyways, that is it for the video. These were 5 things you should know before actually picking up Vlad. Hopefully this helps. If you want more Vladimir guides, make sure to smash the like button. Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a great day. Chen Chen out.